The morning sun cast long shadows across the pristine cricket ground in Lahore as Prince William stepped out of the black Range Rover, his crisp white shirt catching the early light. Behind him, Catherine emerged gracefully, her flowing traditional Pakistani outfit drawing appreciative murmurs from the gathered crowd. The couple had arrived in Pakistan just 2 days earlier, but already their visit was creating waves of excitement throughout the cricket-loving nation. William adjusted his sleeves and looked around the ground with genuine interest. Cricket had always been more than just a sport to him. It was a bridge between cultures, a language that transcended borders. As he watched the groundskeepers putting finishing touches on the pitch, memories of his school cricket days flooded back. He remembered the satisfaction of a well-timed drive, the thrill of taking a crucial catch, and the camaraderie that came with being part of a team. Catherine walked beside him, her eyes bright with anticipation. Though she hadn't played much cricket growing up, she had spent countless hours watching William practice and had developed a keen understanding of the game. More importantly, she understood what this moment meant to the people of Pakistan. Cricket wasn't just entertainment here, it was passion, pride, and a source of national identity. The Lahore Cricket Club had been buzzing with activity for weeks in preparation for this royal visit. Groundsmen had worked tirelessly to ensure the pitch was in perfect condition. Local officials had coordinated with security teams to manage the crowds while maintaining the warm, welcoming atmosphere Pakistan was famous for. Every detail had been carefully planned, from the selection of young cricketers who would interact with the royal couple to the traditional Pakistani refreshments that would be served. As William and Catherine made their way toward the pavilion, they were greeted by Muhammad Hafiz, the former Pakistani cricket captain who had been chosen to host the event. His weathered face broke into a wide smile as he approached the couple, his hands pressed together in a respectful greeting. "Your Royal Highnesses, welcome to Pakistan," Hafiz said, his voice carrying the warmth that had made him beloved by cricket fans worldwide. "We are honored to have you experience our national passion." William extended his hand with a genuine smile. "The honor is ours, Muhammad. Catherine and I have been looking forward to this moment since we learned about your invitation. Cricket has always been close to my heart, and I understand it holds the same place in the hearts of Pakistani people." Catherine nodded in agreement, her diplomatic training evident in her gracious manner. "We've heard so much about Pakistani hospitality and the incredible cricket talent this country produces. We're excited to see it firsthand." The trio walked toward the center of the ground, where a group of young cricketers were warming up. These weren't professional players, but rather talented youth from various cricket academies across Lahore. Their ages ranged from 12 to 18, and their faces showed a mixture of excitement and nervousness at the prospect of playing alongside British royalty. Among them was Fatima Khan, a 16-year-old fast bowler who had been making waves in women's cricket circles. Her journey to this moment had been far from easy. Coming from a conservative family in a small village outside Lahore, she had faced skepticism and sometimes outright opposition to her cricket dreams. But her talent was undeniable, and slowly, match by match, she had proven that girls could excel in cricket just as much as boys. Standing next to her was Ahmed Hassan, a 14-year-old wicketkeeper whose lightning-fast reflexes had caught the attention of scouts from the Pakistan Cricket Board. Ahmed came from a cricket-loving family. His father had been a club-level player, and his grandfather had actually played against the English county teams in the 1970s. For Ahmed, meeting Prince William wasn't just about cricket. It was about connecting his family's cricket legacy with the sport's global reach. As the introductions began, William's natural ease with young people became apparent. He knelt down to speak with the younger players, asking about their cricket heroes, their favorite positions, and their dreams for the future. His questions weren't rehearsed royal protocol. They came from genuine curiosity and his own love of the game. "Who's your favorite bowler?" William asked Ahmed, who was nervously adjusting his wicket-keeping gloves. "Wasim Akram, sir," Ahmed replied, his voice barely above a whisper. "My grandfather says he was the greatest left-arm bowler ever." William's eyes lit up. "Your grandfather has excellent taste. I had the privilege of watching Wasim bowl at Lord's several times. Pure magic with the ball. Do you bowl as well? Or do you focus on keeping?" Ahmed's confidence grew as he realized the prince was genuinely interested in his cricket. "I keep wicket mostly, but I'm learning to bowl off spin. My coach says I have good hands behind the stumps. The best keepers usually do, William replied with an encouraging smile. Keeping wicket requires incredible concentration and skill. I tried it once during a school match and let 4 byes through in 1 over. Decided batting was safer for everyone involved. The group laughed, and the ice was completely broken. Catherine, meanwhile, was deep in conversation with Fatima about the challenges female cricketers faced in Pakistan. As someone who had championed women's sports throughout her royal duties, Catherine was particularly interested in hearing Fatima's story. "What made you want to play cricket?" Catherine asked, her voice warm with genuine interest. Fatima's response came with growing confidence. "My brother played for our village team, and I would watch every match. One day, when they were short a player for practice, the coach let me bowl a few overs. I took 3 wickets, and he said I had natural talent. But convincing my family that cricket was appropriate for girls took much longer than learning to bowl fast." Catherine nodded knowingly. Sport has such power to change perceptions, doesn't it? When people see talent and dedication, barriers often start to fall away. "How do your family feel about your cricket now?" "They are proud now," Fatima said with a bright smile. "Especially when I was selected to represent Punjab in the National Youth Championships. My mother even comes to watch my matches sometimes." As these conversations continued, Mohammed Hafiz had been quietly organizing the cricket equipment. The plan was simple but meaningful. The royal couple would participate in a friendly cricket session with the young players, showcasing not just their own skills, but demonstrating the universal appeal of cricket as a sport that brings people together regardless of background. William removed his jacket and rolled up his sleeves, revealing the careful athletic build that spoke of someone who had remained active despite the demanding schedule of royal duties. Catherine, wearing specially designed cricket whites over her traditional outfit, looked surprisingly at home with a cricket bat in her hands. The pavilion, which had been relatively quiet earlier, was now filled with spectators. Local officials, diplomatic staff, media representatives, and specially invited cricket fans had gathered to witness this unique cultural exchange. But it wasn't just the formal guests who were watching. Beyond the official boundaries of the ground, hundreds of local cricket enthusiasts had gathered, climbing trees and finding vantage points to catch a glimpse of the action. Hafiz took on the role of informal captain, organizing the players into 2 mixed teams. The format would be a shortened version of cricket. Each team would bat for 10 overs, with every player getting a chance to bowl at least 1 over. The rules were relaxed, and the emphasis was on enjoyment rather than competition, but for everyone involved, this was still cricket, and cricket in Pakistan was always taken seriously. William won the toss and chose to bat first. As he walked out to the center of the pitch, bat in hand, the crowd fell into an expectant silence. The first bowler was Fatima, who had been selected for this honor both because of her skill and because her story embodied the inclusive spirit the royal visit was meant to celebrate. Fatima's run-up was smooth and controlled, building the kind of rhythm that separated genuine bowlers from those who simply threw the ball fast. As she approached the crease, her focus narrowed to the single point where she planned to land the ball, just outside off-stump, challenging William to play a shot while keeping the delivery honest. William watched her approach with the kind of attention that showed he understood the skill required for good bowling. He had positioned himself comfortably at the crease, bat slightly raised, weight balanced on the balls of his feet. His stance spoke of someone who had learned cricket properly, with coaching that emphasized technique over power. The ball left Fatima's hand at a good pace, angling toward off-stump with just enough movement to make it interesting. William stepped forward confidently, meeting the ball with the full face of his bat and driving it firmly through the covers. The shot was classical in its execution, a textbook cover drive that sent the ball racing across the outfield. The crowd erupted in appreciation, not just for the quality of the shot, but for the perfect way the moment had played out. Here was a prince who clearly understood and respected cricket, facing a talented young Pakistani bowler who represented the future of the sport in her country. The shot was good enough to earn respect, but not so dominant as to overshadow Fatima's excellent delivery. Fatima smiled broadly as she walked back to her mark. She had just bowled to British royalty, and the prince had treated her bowling with the respect it deserved. For a young woman who had faced skepticism about her place in cricket, This moment validated everything she had worked for. Catherine, waiting her turn to bat, watched the exchange with obvious pleasure. She understood that this wasn't just about cricket. It was about mutual respect, cultural exchange, and the power of sport to create connections between people from vastly different backgrounds. As William faced his second delivery, this time from Ahmed, the wicketkeeper had moved into position behind the stumps. Ahmed's bowling was more tentative than Fatima's. Medium pace off spin that was accurate, but not particularly threatening. William waited patiently and pushed the ball gently into the leg side, calling for a quick single and jogging down the pitch with Catherine. The partnership between William and Catherine was clearly comfortable and familiar. They called for runs clearly, encouraged each other between deliveries, and showed the kind of understanding that comes from people who have played sports together before. Catherine's batting style was different from William's, where he relied on classical technique. She played with more improvisation, using quick footwork to get into position and playing shots that were effective if not textbook perfect. Against the slower bowling of the younger players, Catherine showed surprising authority. When Ahmed dropped his next delivery short, she quickly shifted her weight back and pulled the ball firmly square of the wicket. The shot wasn't coached or classical, but it was perfectly effective, and the crowd appreciated her practical approach to run scoring. Between overs, Hafiz shared stories about cricket in Pakistan, explaining how the sport had become woven into the fabric of Pakistani society. He told them about street cricket played with improvised equipment, about how cricket matches brought entire communities together, and about the way cricket success could change a player's life overnight. In Pakistan, cricket is not just sport, Hafiz explained as they changed ends. Cricket is dreams. Young boys and girls playing in streets dream of representing Pakistan. They dream of playing at Lord's, at Melbourne Cricket Ground, at all the great venues of the world. Today, these young players will remember forever that they played cricket with British royalty at their home ground. William nodded thoughtfully. I think cricket has that power everywhere it's played seriously. There's something about the sport that creates lasting memories and connections between people. I still remember specific cricket moments from my school days. Not just the big victories, but small moments of skill and friendship that stayed with me. As their batting partnership progressed, William and Catherine settled into a comfortable rhythm. The bowling was good enough to keep them honest, but not so challenging as to prevent them from scoring runs at a steady pace. More importantly, each delivery created opportunities for interaction with the young Pakistani cricketers. When Catherine mistimed a drive and the ball went straight to point, the fielder, a shy 13-year-old named Rashid, held on to a simple catch. Instead of disappointment at getting out, Catherine's face broke into a genuine smile as she applauded Rashid's catch and walked over to congratulate him personally. Well held, she said to Rashid, whose face was a mixture of disbelief and joy. That was straight to you, but you made it look easy. Good hands. Rashid managed a quiet, "Thank you, ma'am," but his smile spoke volumes about what the moment meant to him. Years later, he would tell people about the day he caught out the Duchess of Cambridge in a cricket match, and how she had taken the time to congratulate him on his fielding. William continued batting with the next player, a 15-year-old all-rounder named Bilal who had been selected to represent Punjab at the national youth level. Bilal's bowling was more challenging, medium pace with good control, and the kind of competitive edge that marked him as a serious cricketer. The battle between William and Bilal became the highlight of the session. Bilal was clearly trying to test the prince with his best deliveries, while William was equally determined to show that his cricket skills were genuine rather than ceremonial. The contest was friendly but competitive, exactly what cricket should be when played in the right spirit. Bilal's first delivery was slightly short of a good length, angling across William's body. The prince had time to get into position and drove firmly through the offside, finding the gap between cover and point. Bilal nodded approvingly. It was a good shot to a decent ball, the kind of cricket exchange that both players could respect. The next delivery was fuller and straighter, inviting William to drive down the ground. But Bilal had set a trap, placing mid-off precisely where the ball might go if William mistimed his shot slightly. William recognized the field setting and adjusted his stroke, driving with soft hands and placing the ball wide of the fielder rather than trying to hit it too hard. Bilal's third ball was his best yet. Perfect length, drawing William forward, with just enough movement off the pitch to take the edge if the batsman wasn't careful. William played it with soft hands, allowing for the movement and running the ball down to third man for a single. It was defensive cricket, but played with skill and understanding. The crowd was now fully engaged, appreciating both the competitive spirit and the mutual respect being displayed. This wasn't ceremonial cricket. It was genuine sport being played by people who understood and loved the game. As the batting session continued, other young cricketers got their chance to bowl, each bringing their own style and personality to the contest. There was Amna, an 18-year-old left-arm spinner whose flight and troubled even experienced batsmen. There was Tariq, a 16-year-old fast bowler whose pace was already attracting attention from provincial coaches. Each bowler presented different challenges, and William approached each one with the respect their skill deserved. The informal nature of the match meant that everyone could enjoy both the cricket and the social interaction. Between overs, conversations flowed easily between the players. William asked about cricket coaching in Pakistan, about the pathways for young players to develop their skills, and about the role of cricket in Pakistani education. The young cricketers, initially overawed by meeting royalty, quickly discovered that William and Catherine were genuinely interested in their stories and their cricket. They shared their dreams of representing Pakistan, their favorite cricket memories, and their hopes for the future of the sport in their country. Catherine, having been dismissed, took up a position at fine leg and threw herself into the fielding with enthusiasm that surprised everyone. When a hard-hit ball came toward her, she moved quickly to cut it off, showing good athleticism and a competitive spirit that earned applause from players and spectators alike. "The Duchess has quick feet," Hafiz observed to one of the other coaches. "She moves like someone who has played sports seriously." As Williams' batting session drew toward its end, the score had reached a respectable total through a combination of proper cricket shots and quick singles. More importantly, the session had achieved its real purpose, creating genuine connections between the royal couple and young Pakistani cricketers while celebrating the shared love of cricket that connected Britain and Pakistan. The final over of Williams' innings was bowled by Fatima, bringing the session full circle. Her last ball was full and straight, and William drove it firmly down the ground, running hard for 2 runs before raising his bat to acknowledge the applause from the crowd. As he walked off, William was approached by each of the young cricketers for individual words of encouragement. His conversations with them were brief but personal, focusing on their specific skills and achievements rather than generic praise. To Fatima, he said, "Your bowling has genuine pace and accuracy. Keep working on your fitness and technique. You have the talent to play at the highest level." To Ahmed, he offered, "Your keeping is already very good for your age. Work on your batting too. The best keepers can contribute runs as well as taking catches." To each player, William provided encouragement that was both specific and genuine, showing that he had been paying attention to their individual skills throughout the session. The morning session was drawing to a close, but the cricket was far from over. The plan was for Catherine to bat next, partnered with some of the young Pakistani cricketers, before the royal couple took their turn at bowling. Already, the event was exceeding everyone's expectations in terms of genuine cricket played and authentic connections made between the visitors and their hosts. The afternoon sun had shifted position over the Lahore Cricket Club, casting different shadows across the pitch as Catherine prepared for her turn to bat. Unlike the morning session, where she had partnered with William, this time she would be batting with Fatima Khan, creating a unique partnership that symbolized the connection between royal patronage and grassroots cricket development in Pakistan. Catherine adjusted her protective gear with the practiced movements of someone comfortable with sporting equipment. Though cricket wasn't her primary sport, her athletic background and competitive nature had served her well during the morning session. More importantly, she had spent the interval between innings talking cricket strategy with Muhammad Hafiz and some of the other coaches, absorbing their advice about batting against the varied bowling styles of the young Pakistani cricketers. Fatima walked beside Catherine toward the center of the pitch, her confidence having grown considerably since the morning session. The young fast bowler was about to experience cricket from the other side, and her natural athleticism suggested she would be equally effective with the bat in her hands. "Have you opened the batting before?" Catherine asked Fatima as they completed their warm-up stretches near the crease. "Sometimes for my school team," Fatima replied, unconsciously adjusting her stance as she spoke. "But usually I bat lower in the order because they want me to save energy for bowling. Today feels different though, special." Catherine smiled at the honest response. "Today is special for all of us. Let's just enjoy the cricket and see how many runs we can score together." The bowling attack for this session had been restructured to give different players opportunities to showcase their skills. Opening the attack was Tariq Ahmed, the 16-year-old fast bowler whose pace had been generating excitement among the coaching staff. Tariq's approach to bowling was noticeably different from the more measured styles displayed in the morning. He relied on genuine speed and the kind of competitive fire that marked future professional cricketers. As Tariq marked out his run-up, significantly longer than any of the previous bowlers, Catherine took her guard and looked around the field. The positioning was more aggressive than earlier, with slip fielders in place and the field set for pace bowling rather than the spin-friendly arrangements that had dominated the morning session. William, now fielding at first slip, called out encouraging words to both batsmen. His position in the slips wasn't ceremonial. During his school cricket career, he had been known for safe hands and good reflexes in the close catching positions. Today, he was genuinely part of the fielding team, ready to take any chances that came his way. Tariq's first delivery announced his intentions clearly. The ball was pitched up and fast, angling across Catherine's body with the kind of pace that demanded respect. Catherine played carefully, allowing the ball to come to her and pushing it gently into the offside for a single that handed the strike to Fatima. The crowd responded positively to both the quality of Tariq's bowling and Catherine's measured response. This was proper cricket being played at a good standard, not the ceremonial sporting exhibition that some had expected. Fatima faced her next challenge as Tariq returned to his mark. The young fast bowler was clearly excited about bowling to someone who had been challenging him with the ball earlier in the day. His approach was noticeably faster, and the delivery that resulted was the quickest of the entire session, sure of a length and climbing toward Fatima's body. Instead of being intimidated by the pace, Fatima showed exactly why she had been selected for provincial representation. She swayed away from the line of the ball with the kind of reflexes that marked her as a natural athlete, then smiled at Tariq in appreciation of his effort. "Good ball," she called down the pitch, and Tariq responded with a competitive grin that showed his respect for her batting as well as her bowling skills. The next delivery was fuller, and Fatima drove confidently through the covers, finding the gap and running hard for 2 runs. Her shot was technically sound and showed good timing, proving that her cricket skills extended well beyond her fast bowling. As the partnership between Catherine and Fatima developed, their contrasting styles became apparent but complementary. Catherine played with the discipline of someone who had learned cricket as an adult, focusing on timing and placement rather than power. Fatima batted with the natural aggression of a young athlete, looking to score runs quickly, but always within her technical capabilities. The bowling continued to challenge them appropriately. After Tariq's opening spell, Ahmed Hassan took the ball, switching from his wicket-keeping duties to try his hand at off-spin bowling. Ahmed's approach was completely different from the pace that had preceded him. Flight, turn, and careful field placings designed to create pressure through accuracy rather than speed. Catherine found Ahmed's bowling more to her liking, using her footwork to get to the pitch of the ball and driving cleanly through the offside. Her shots weren't powerful, but they were placed with precision that spoke of good coaching and natural hand-eye coordination. "You've clearly worked on your cricket," Hafiz observed from his position at mid-on. "Your technique is very sound for someone who didn't grow up playing the sport." Catherine acknowledged the compliment with a smile while maintaining her focus on the next delivery. "William has been a good teacher, and I've always enjoyed sports that require precision rather than just strength." Fatima's approach to Ahmed's spin bowling was more attacking. Where Catherine played careful shots along the ground, Fatima was willing to use her feet to get down the pitch and drive in the air when the length invited attacking play. Her 6-over long on was the shot of the day so far, clean hitting that cleared the boundary with room to spare and earned enthusiastic applause from the growing crowd. The partnership was building steadily, with both batswomen contributing runs and looking increasingly comfortable against the varied bowling attack. More importantly, they were clearly enjoying each other's company and the challenge of batting together in this unique environment. Between overs, they shared observations about the bowling, advice about shot selection, and stories about their respective cricket experiences. Catherine asked about the differences between playing cricket in Pakistan versus other countries, while Fatima was curious about the cricket facilities available to the royal family and whether Prince William was as competitive in private as he appeared to be in public. He takes all sports seriously, Catherine revealed as they changed ends after a particularly productive over. Even family tennis matches become quite competitive. I imagine his cricket is the same way. The bowling changes continued to provide variety and maintain interest. Bilal, the all-rounder who had challenged Williams so effectively earlier, returned to bowl his medium-pace seamers with a field set to prevent easy scoring. His approach was crafty rather than quick, using changes of pace and variations in line to keep the batswomen thinking. Catherine found Bilal's bowling tricky but rewarding to face. His slower delivery caught her by surprise, and she was nearly stumped by the alert Ahmed Hassan, who had returned to his wicket-keeping duties. The near miss drew laughter from everyone, including Catherine herself, and added to the competitive spirit that was making the session so engaging. Fatima was less troubled by Bilal's variations, reading his changes of pace early and adjusting her shots accordingly. Her experience facing different bowling styles in provincial cricket served her well, and she was able to maintain the scoring rate even against the more challenging bowling. As their partnership passed 50 runs, both batswomen were hitting their stride. Catherine had found her range against the spin bowling and was placing the ball consistently into gaps in the field. Fatima was showing her full range of shots, including some delightful late cuts and pulls that demonstrated her growing confidence with the bat. The crowd was now thoroughly engaged with the cricket, responding to good shots with genuine appreciation and encouraging the bowlers when they beat the bat or created chances. The atmosphere was developing the kind of buzz that marked good cricket being played in the right spirit. William, still fielding in the slips, was enjoying watching the partnership develop. His wife's competitiveness and technique were impressing everyone, while Fatima's natural batting ability was revealing another dimension to her cricket skills. Between deliveries, he encouraged both batswomen and provided tactical advice about field placings and bowling styles. The introduction of left-arm spinner Amna provided a new challenge for both batswomen. Amna's bowling was more subtle than anything they had faced so far, relying on flight, variation of pace, and the natural turn available to left-arm spinners bowling to right-handed batters. Catherine initially struggled against Amna's bowling, playing and missing its several deliveries as she adjusted to the different angle and turn. But her competitive nature and analytical approach served her well, and within a few balls, she had adapted her technique to account for the spin and was scoring runs again. Fatima found Amna's bowling more challenging than the pace she had faced earlier. The flight and guile required different batting skills from those needed against fast bowling, and for several overs, the scoring rate slowed as both batswomen focused on building their partnership rather than taking risks against quality spin bowling. The tactical battle between bat and ball was exactly what good cricket should provide. Amna was bowling with genuine skill and clear plans for each batswoman, while Catherine and Fatima were responding with appropriate adjustments to their technique and shot selection. The cricket was competitive without being confrontational, challenging without being unfair. As the session progressed, stories emerged about each of the young cricketers and their journeys to this special day. Rashid, the quiet 13-year-old who had caught Catherine earlier, was revealed to be the son of a groundskeeper who had learned cricket by watching matches from the boundary while his father worked on pitch preparation. Bilal had been discovered playing street cricket with improvised equipment and had worked his way through local academies to reach provincial level. His bowling skills had developed through hours of practice against older players who didn't give him easy runs, creating the competitive edge that was now challenging royal batswomen. Ahmed Hassan's family cricket connections ran deep. His grandfather had indeed played against visiting English county teams in the 1970s, and Ahmed carried not just the family's cricket genes, but also their deep knowledge of the game's tactical complexities. Each story reinforced the reality that cricket in Pakistan was more than just sport. It was a pathway for young people from all backgrounds to develop skills, build character, and sometimes change their lives completely. The royal visit was highlighting these stories and celebrating the role cricket played in Pakistani society. Catherine and Fatima's partnership was now approaching 70 runs, with both batswomen contributing regularly to the scoreboard. Their understanding had developed to the point where they were calling for runs clearly, backing up effectively, and supporting each other through the challenging periods when good bowling restricted scoring opportunities. The final bowling change brought Tariq back for a second spell, with instructions to test both batswomen with his pace once more. His return to the attack created immediate excitement, as the crowd anticipated another confrontation between genuine fast bowling and batswomen who had grown in confidence throughout their innings. Tariq's first ball back was his fastest yet, short and rising toward Catherine's throat. Instead of being intimidated, Catherine swayed away expertly and then smiled at Tariq in appreciation of his effort. The exchange epitomized the spirit of the entire session. Competitive cricket played with mutual respect and genuine enjoyment. Fatima welcomed Tariq's return by driving his next delivery powerfully straight back past him for 4 runs. The shot was perfectly timed and placed, showcasing the batting skills that complemented her fast bowling abilities. Tariq applauded the shot himself, showing the kind of sportsmanship that made the day special for everyone involved. As the batting session moved toward its conclusion, Catherine and Fatima continued to build their partnership with shots that demonstrated improving confidence and growing understanding between them. Their cricket had evolved from tentative beginnings to genuine collaboration, much like the cultural and diplomatic connections that the royal visit was designed to strengthen. The afternoon session had proved that the morning's success was not a fluke. Real cricket was being played between people who respected each other's skills and enjoyed the competitive challenges the game provided. More importantly, lasting connections were being forged between the royal visitors and young Pakistani cricketers whose stories embodied the power of sport to create opportunities and build bridges between different cultures. With the batting session nearly complete, attention was already turning to the next phase of the day, when Prince William and Catherine would take their turn with the ball, bowling to the talented young Pakistani cricketers who had been challenging them with the bat all day. The anticipation was building for what promised to be the most entertaining segment of an already memorable cricket showcase. The late afternoon breeze carried the sounds of excited conversation across the Lahore Cricket Club as Prince William removed his fielding gloves and picked up a cricket ball for the first time that day. The moment everyone had been anticipating was finally arriving. The opportunity to see British royalty bowl to talented Pakistani cricketers who had spent the day impressing everyone with their skills and sportsmanship. William examined the red leather ball carefully, feeling its weight and checking the seam position with the attention of someone who understood bowling mechanics. His approach to cricket had always been thorough rather than casual, and his preparation for bowling followed the same methodical pattern that had characterized his batting earlier in the day. Catherine stood nearby, holding her own cricket ball and watching the young Pakistani cricketers take their batting practice. The role reversal was significant. Throughout the day, these talented teenagers had been bowling to royalty, and now they would face the challenge of batting against royal bowling. The competitive dynamics were about to shift completely, creating new opportunities for skills to be showcased and connections to be made. Muhammad Hafiz gathered the players around him for a brief tactical discussion. The format would remain informal, but competitive. Each royal bowler would deliver 2 overs to different batsmen, giving everyone opportunities to bat, while keeping the session moving at an engaging pace. The emphasis remained on enjoyment and mutual respect, but this was still cricket, and good bowling deserved to be met with good batting. William marked out a run-up that was longer than most of the young Pakistani bowlers had used, suggesting his intention to bowl at a pace that would provide genuine challenge rather than ceremonial offerings. His action, practiced during brief warm-up deliveries, showed the smooth coordination that came from proper coaching and regular practice. The first batsman to face William was Ahmed Hassan, the young wicket-keeper whose family cricket connections ran back generations. Ahmed approached the crease with obvious excitement, but also appropriate respect for what he understood would be quality bowling from someone who took cricket seriously. Ahmed took his guard carefully, looking around the field to understand the catching positions William had requested. The field setting was aggressive but fair, slip fielders in place but gaps available for scoring shots played with skill and timing. This was clearly going to be proper cricket rather than gentle net practice. Williams' first delivery announced his bowling intentions clearly. The ball was pitched up, encouraging Ahmed to drive, but delivered at medium fast pace with enough movement off the pitch to reward careless shot selection. Ahmed played carefully, allowing the ball to come to him and pushing it gently to cover for a single that handed the strike to his partner Bilal. The crowd responded positively to both the quality of Williams' bowling and Ahmed's measured response. The Prince was clearly taking the bowling seriously, putting real effort into his deliveries, and bowling with tactical awareness rather than just trying to hit the stumps. Bilal, the all-rounder who had impressed everyone with his bowling earlier in the day, faced a different challenge from Williams' second delivery. This ball was fuller and straighter, testing Bilal's forward defensive technique. Bilal played it correctly, meeting the ball with the full face of his bat and playing it back down the pitch. "Good bowling, sir," Bilal called down the pitch, and William acknowledged the compliment with a nod that showed his appreciation for the young cricketer's respect and understanding of the game. Williams' third delivery was his best yet. Perfect length, drawing Bilal forward but moving away off the seam just enough to beat the outside edge of his bat. The crowd gasped appreciatively at the quality of the bowling, and Bilal shook his head ruefully, recognizing that he had been beaten by skill rather than luck. Catherine, waiting for her turn to bowl, watched Williams' technique with interest. She could see that his bowling action was consistent, and his line and length were controlled enough to challenge good batsmen. More importantly, his competitive approach was bringing out the best in the young Pakistani cricketers, who were responding to the quality bowling with appropriate respect and determination. As Williams' first over progressed, his bowling settled into an impressive rhythm. His pace was challenging without being overwhelming, and his accuracy forced the batsman to play properly constructed shots rather than relying on power or luck. Most significantly, his bowling was creating the kind of genuine cricket contest that made the session engaging for players and spectators alike. Ahmed faced the last ball of Williams over with confidence that had grown throughout the morning and afternoon. When William dropped the ball slightly short, Ahmed was quick to rock back and pull firmly square the wicket. The shot was well executed and perfectly timed, earning enthusiastic applause from the crowd and an acknowledging nod from William himself. Catherine took the ball for her first over with a mixture of excitement and nervous energy. Her bowling experience was limited compared to her batting, but her athletic background and competitive nature suggested she would approach the challenge with the same determination she had shown throughout the day. Catherine's bowling action was noticeably different from Williams'. Shorter run-up, less pace, but with a focus on accuracy and movement that suggested she had received good coaching advice about playing to her strengths rather than trying to bowl beyond her natural abilities. Her first delivery to Tariq, the young fast bowler who had impressed everyone with his pace, was medium-paced and straight, challenging him to play a proper shot. Tariq responded with respect, playing forward defensively and keeping the ball along the ground. Catherine's approach to bowling was tactical rather than powerful. She varied her length subtly, used changes of pace to keep the batsman thinking, and bowled to field placings that created pressure without being unrealistic about her ability to take wickets through pace alone. Tariq faced her second delivery with growing confidence. When Catherine pushed the ball fuller and wider, he drove cleanly through the covers for 3 runs, showing the same timing and technique that had made him such an effective batsman throughout the day. Catherine applauded the shot herself, showing the kind of sportsmanship that had characterized the entire event. The pattern continued as different young cricketers faced royal bowling and responded with shots that demonstrated their developing skills and understanding of the game. Fatima, when she came into bat, showed the same aggressive instincts with the bat that made her such an effective fast bowler. She was particularly strong when Catherine dropped the ball short, pulling and cutting with authority while showing appropriate respect for the fuller deliveries. Rashid, the quiet 13-year-old who had caught Catherine earlier, batted with determination that surprised everyone. His technique was still developing, but his concentration and desire to succeed were evident in every shot he played. When he managed to drive one of Williams' deliveries through mid-off for 2 runs, his smile lit up the entire ground. Between overs, conversations flowed naturally between the players. Williams shared observations about bowling techniques with the young cricketers, while Catherine asked questions about their cricket training and development programs. The interactions were genuine rather than formal, creating the kind of connections that would be remembered long after the diplomatic formalities of the royal visit had been forgotten. The young cricketers, initially overwhelmed by the prospect of batting against royalty, quickly discovered that William and Catherine were bowling with the same respect for proper cricket that had characterized their batting earlier in the day. The bowling was challenging enough to demand good technique, but fair enough to reward well-executed shots. Amna, the left-arm spinner who had troubled both royal batswomen earlier, approached her turn to bat with obvious excitement. Her batting style was more cautious than her bowling suggested, focusing on timing rather than power and building her innings carefully rather than trying to dominate immediately. William adjusted his bowling approach for Amna, recognizing that her technique was different from the more aggressive styles of some of the other players. His deliveries became slightly fuller, encouraging her to play forward and drive through the line of the ball. When she did exactly that, driving cleanly down the ground for a well-deserved boundary, William was the first to applaud her shot. Catherine's second over brought a different challenge as she faced Ahmed Hassan, whose wicket-keeping experience had given him good understanding of bowling tactics and field placings. Ahmed clearly respected Catherine's bowling, but was also determined to score runs when opportunities presented themselves. Catherine's first ball to Ahmed was pushed too far down the leg side, and he was quick to glance it fine for 4 runs. The shot was expertly played, using Catherine's pace and direction to guide the ball to the boundary. Catherine acknowledged her bowling error with good grace, adjusting her line for the next delivery. Her adjustment proved effective, as the next ball drew Ahmed forward and beat him with subtle movement off the pitch. The crowd appreciated both the quality of Catherine's improvement and Ahmed's honest attempt to play a proper shot to a challenging delivery. As the bowling session developed, the tactical elements of cricket became more apparent. William experimented with different field placings for different batsmen, recognizing that each young cricketer had distinct strengths and preferences. His approach showed genuine understanding of cricket strategy rather than casual participation in a ceremonial event. For Bilal, who had shown strength through the offside during his batting, Williams set a more defensive field on that side and concentrated on bowling a tighter line that encouraged different shot selections. The tactical battle was subtle but genuine, exactly what good cricket should provide. Catherine's bowling evolved throughout her overs as she gained confidence and learned from each delivery. Her pace remained modest, but her accuracy improved significantly, and she began to understand how to use variations in flight and length to create challenges for different batsmen. The competitive element of the session remained friendly, but real. When Tariq managed to drive one of Williams' deliveries straight back past him for 4 runs, both bowler and batsman exchanged competitive grins that acknowledged good cricket being played on both sides. Similarly, when Catherine's bowling earned an edge that was caught by William in the slips, both royal bowler and fielder celebrated appropriately, while immediately congratulating the batsman on his fighting innings. The bowling statistics were becoming less important than the cricket being played and the connections being created. Each over provided new opportunities for skills to be demonstrated, respect to be earned, and friendships to be formed between people from vastly different backgrounds united by their love of cricket. As the afternoon light began to change, suggesting that the formal cricket session was moving toward its conclusion, both William and Catherine had established themselves as genuine cricketers rather than ceremonial participants. Their bowling had been challenging enough to test the young Pakistani cricketers while remaining fair and encouraging. More importantly, the bowling session had reinforced the themes that had made the entire day special: mutual respect between competitors, celebration of skill regardless of background, and the power of cricket to create connections between people who might otherwise never have the opportunity to meet and compete together. The young Pakistani cricketers had responded to royal bowling with the same mixture of respect, determination, and skill that they had shown throughout the day. They had proven themselves worthy opponents and gracious teammates, embodying the best traditions of Pakistani cricket hospitality while showcasing the talent that made their country such a significant force in world cricket. With the bowling session drawing to a close, the stage was set for the final element of this remarkable cricket showcase, a conclusion that would celebrate not just the cricket that had been played, but the cultural connections that had been strengthened through the universal language of sport. The golden hour light painted the Lahore Cricket Club in warm amber tones as the formal cricket session drew to its natural conclusion. Prince William handed his ball to Muhammad Hafiz with the satisfied expression of someone who had genuinely enjoyed competitive cricket, while Catherine walked off her bowling mark with obvious pleasure at having challenged herself with an unfamiliar skill in front of an expert audience. The scorebooks would show runs scored and wickets taken, but the real achievements of the day were measured in different currency. The confidence gained by young Pakistani cricketers who had competed successfully against international guests, the respect earned by royal visitors who had proven their sporting credentials, and the connections forged between people from different cultures through their shared love of cricket. Hafiz called all the players together in the center of the ground for the traditional post-match gathering. In Pakistani cricket culture, this moment was as important as the game itself, an opportunity to acknowledge good performances, share observations about the cricket played, and strengthen the relationships that sport created between competitors. William stood with the young Pakistani cricketers as Hafiz began speaking, but his attention was clearly focused on listening rather than waiting for his turn to speak. Throughout the day, he had demonstrated genuine interest in hearing Pakistani perspectives on cricket development and the role of sport in building connections between communities. Today we have seen cricket played in its finest spirit. Hafiz began, his voice carrying across the ground to reach not just the players but the spectators who had remained to watch the conclusion of this unique event. We have seen skill, respect, competition, and friendship, everything that makes cricket special. Hafiz turned to acknowledge each of the young cricketers individually, highlighting specific performances and moments that had impressed him throughout the day. His comments were detailed and personal, showing that he had been watching carefully rather than simply supervising a ceremonial event. "Fatima," he said, addressing the young fast bowler who had opened the bowling to Prince William earlier that morning. "Your bowling today showed pace, accuracy, and intelligence. More importantly, your batting proved that you are developing into a complete cricketer. You represented Pakistani women's cricket beautifully." Fatima's response was a mixture of pride and determination. "Thank you, sir. Playing cricket with their Royal Highnesses has shown me that skill and respect are the same everywhere. I will remember this day when I represent Pakistan." Ahmed Hassan was acknowledged for his wicket-keeping and his tactical understanding of the game. "Your family's cricket heritage is clearly alive in your hands and your cricket brain," Hafiz told him. "Your grandfather would be proud to see how you kept wicket and batted today." Each young cricketer received personal recognition that was specific and genuine rather than generic praise. Bilal was commended for his competitive bowling and intelligent batting. Tariq was praised for his pace and his sportsmanship. Amna was recognized for the skill and flight of her left-arm spin bowling. Rashid, the youngest member of the group, was acknowledged for his courage and determination in holding his place among older, more experienced cricketers. "You showed today that cricket is about heart as much as skill," Hafiz told him. "Your catch and your batting will inspire other young cricketers." When Hafiz turned his attention to the royal guests, his words carried the weight of someone who had played cricket at the highest international level and understood the difference between ceremonial participation and genuine competition. "Your Royal Highnesses," he said, addressing William and Catherine directly. "You have honored Pakistani cricket not just by visiting, but by playing with skill and respect. You have shown our young cricketers that sport creates connections that cross all boundaries." William stepped forward to respond, and His words reflected the genuine engagement he had felt throughout the day. "Mohammed, the honor has been entirely ours. Catherine and I came here expecting to enjoy cricket hospitality, but we discovered something much more valuable. Genuine competition, remarkable skill, and the kind of sportsmanship that makes cricket special." He paused to look at each of the young cricketers individually. "Every one of these players has impressed us today. Their skills, their attitudes, and their love of cricket represent the best of Pakistani sport. We will remember this day not as visitors to Pakistan, but as cricketers who were privileged to play alongside exceptional young talent." Catherine added her own observations, focusing particularly on the young women cricketers who had participated. "Fatima and Amna have shown me that cricket talent knows no boundaries. Their skills and determination are inspiring, and I know they will encourage other young women to see cricket as a sport where they can excel and achieve their dreams." The formal acknowledgments were important, but the informal conversations that followed were equally significant. The young cricketers approached William and Catherine with questions about cricket in Britain, about the role of sport in royal duties, and about opportunities for Pakistani cricketers to develop their skills internationally. Fatima asked Catherine about support for women's cricket in Britain and whether the opportunities were equal to those available to male cricketers. Catherine's response was honest about the challenges while being encouraging about the progress being made. "Women's cricket is growing everywhere, but it still requires strong individuals like yourself to lead the way," Catherine told her. "Your talent and determination today showed exactly the kind of leadership that will create opportunities for the next generation of female cricketers." Ahmed Hassan engaged William in a detailed conversation about wicket-keeping techniques and the mental aspects of the position. William's responses showed that his cricket knowledge extended beyond basic participation to genuine understanding of the strategic elements of the game. "Keeping wicket requires you to be involved in every ball," William told Ahmed. "The best keepers I've watched are always thinking about field placings, helping their bowlers, and encouraging their teammates. Your keeping today showed all of those qualities." As these conversations continued, photographers captured moments that would become part of the historical record of the royal visit. But the real significance was in the genuine connections being formed between people who had competed together and earned each other's respect through cricket. The event organizers had planned a final symbolic moment: the presentation of specially commissioned cricket equipment to both the young Pakistani cricketers and the royal guests. The presentations were made by local cricket officials and represented the commitment to continuing the development opportunities that the day had highlighted. Each young cricketer received a personalized cricket bat signed by former Pakistani cricket stars, along with enrollment in an advanced training program designed to help them continue developing their skills. The practical nature of these gifts reflected the understanding that Real development required ongoing support rather than one-time recognition. William and Catherine received a beautifully crafted cricket ball signed by all the young participants, along with a detailed album documenting the cricket played throughout the day. These gifts would serve as permanent reminders of an event that had exceeded everyone's expectations for genuine sporting competition and cultural exchange. As the official presentations concluded, the crowd that had gathered throughout the day began to show their appreciation with extended applause. But more meaningful than the formal applause were the spontaneous chants of cricket that arose from different sections of the spectators. The young cricketers responded by raising their bats and equipment in acknowledgement, while William and Catherine joined them in acknowledging the crowd's enthusiasm. The moment captured the spirit of the entire day: genuine celebration of cricket played with skill and enjoyed by everyone involved. As the formal event drew to its close, the conversations continued informally around the ground. Cricket coaches discussed development programs with diplomatic officials. Young cricketers exchanged contact information and promised to stay in touch about their progress. Parents who had traveled to watch their children play cricket with royalty shared their pride and excitement with anyone willing to listen. The impact of the day extended beyond the immediate participants. Local media representatives had documented every aspect of the cricket, and their reports would reach cricket fans throughout Pakistan and beyond. The stories they would tell were not just about royal visits or diplomatic protocols, but about real cricket played by talented people who had earned each other's respect. International media coverage focused on the cultural significance of the event, but the Pakistani cricket community understood something equally important. Young Pakistani cricketers had competed successfully against international guests and had represented their country's cricket traditions with distinction. As William and Catherine prepared to leave the Lahore Cricket Club, they were approached by each of the young cricketers for final individual conversations. These brief exchanges were private rather than formal, allowing for personal connections that would outlast the official aspects of the royal visit. The conversations covered cricket advice, encouragement about future opportunities, and mutual expressions of respect for the skills that had been displayed throughout the day. More significantly, they included genuine expressions of friendship between people who had competed together and discovered shared values through sport. William's final words to the group were delivered without ceremony or formal protocol. "You have shown Catherine and me that cricket is truly a universal language. We will follow your careers with interest and hope that this day has encouraged you to pursue your cricket dreams with even greater determination." Catherine's parting message was equally personal. "Thank you for welcoming us into your cricket community and for showing us the talent and spirit that makes Pakistani cricket special. You have inspired us as much as you have entertained us." As the royal car pulled away from the Lahore Cricket Club, the young Pakistani cricketers remained on the ground, reliving the highlights of their remarkable day. They had bowled to a prince and batted against a duchess. They had been challenged by royal bowling and had responded with shots that earned genuine applause. More importantly, they had discovered that cricket really was a universal language that could create connections between people from completely different backgrounds. The skills they had developed through years of practice and dedication had earned them the respect of international guests and had opened their eyes to possibilities they might never have imagined. The sun set over the Lahore Cricket Club with the echo of Leather on Willow still hanging in the air, but the memories and connections created during this extraordinary day of cricket would endure far beyond the golden hour light that had witnessed genuine sport played in perfect spirit by people united in their love of the game. For everyone involved, royal guests, young cricketers, coaches, officials, and spectators, the day had proven that cricket at its best could be simultaneously competitive and respectful, challenging and enjoyable, formal and friendly. Most importantly, it had demonstrated that when sport is played with skill and genuine respect, it creates bridges between cultures and connections between people that last far beyond any single match or event. The cricket was over, but the friendships forged and the respect earned would continue to grow, exactly as cricket had always intended when it was played with the right spirit, by people who understood its power to unite rather than divide.